All problems are problems of the spirit. We spend our lives trying to fix our problems on the surface level, trying to take action in the physical world, and that is why we struggle so much. We struggle so hard to make such little progress. And why is this? It's because we try to address gunshot wounds with band-aids. If you have many weeds growing in your garden, it serves no purpose just to cut the tops off. You have to go in the root and take them out. And so too, all of the problems that we experience in life, we try to address from a surface level perspective. And that is why we do not overcome. We do not transcend. But if we are to dive deep within, find the root cause, then we could solve the problem for good. It is like within us there is a tree of sin, and we try to defeat the sin by pruning the branches, or perhaps by even taking an axe and trying to knock it down. But the roots are firmly planted within the recesses of our minds. And so the tree grows back. And so too the fruits of sin come back to haunt us once again. When you look out into the universe, what many people refer to as God is that divine intelligence that permeates all things. It's the force, the intelligence that grows an acorn into an oak tree. It is that same power that has evolved the entire cosmos forward. And that power is working through you. But what we do as human beings is that we cut ourselves off from this power. We cut ourselves off from the flow of life. And this life, its nature is harmony. And when you are cut off from harmony, you enter into disharmony. You fall out of tune with life, and you are off beat. A problem in its very nature is the absence of harmony. And in my experience, I see people, everybody has a degree of problems in their life. And the degree of their problems is determined by the resistance they are in to life. The more problems somebody has, the more in resistance they are. And resistance comes from attachments of the mind. The mind is like a valve hose that constricts or allows the flow of life. And the stronger the mind, the less life. Because the mind is like sucking up all the life juice for its own personal gain. That is why you find the more you think about things all the time, the more miserable you are. And where life is not, death is. And this life is also light. And so where light is not, darkness is. And so when you are cut off from the source of life within you, your life, your existence becomes surrounded by darkness, and you become a vessel for death, and you are consumed by death, and that process is filled with pain and suffering and misery. And every single human being on the planet has this balance of life and death within them. And so the more you suffer, the more you are aligned with the force of death. Somehow, some way. And the more you experience peace and love and joy on a daily basis, the more you are in harmony with life. And you see, this darkness is also illusion, and this light is truth. And this truth is God. And that is why I say heaven is synonymous with union, and hell is synonymous with separation. Union with and separation from God, or the source within you. And as you may or may not know, that same divine intelligence that evolves the universe forward is that same divine intelligence in you. Only the difference is within you, this intelligence is beyond all space, all time, all limitations. It is the eternal and infinite God essence that you are. And so the reason that people suffer with problems so much is no other reason other than the fact that they have become separated from the true essence of what they are. They are living in illusion and are separated from truth. They are living in darkness and are separated from light. They are living in hell because they are separated from God. And so all pain, all suffering, all misery, all problems in this life come from the same exact source. And that is being cut off from our spirit through our attachments of the mind, our beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves about the way that the world is. We live in separation, and this is illusion, because in truth we are all one. Everything is made out of the same stardust, and yet in our daily lives we do not experience ourselves as one. All you need to do is get stuck in traffic for about 30 minutes, and then all of your wisdom will be thrown out the window. Or perhaps you have to wait in the line at the grocery store, or that somebody gets your order wrong at the fast food restaurant. The moment life presents to you an opportunity to reinforce your sense of self-identity, the mind will grab onto it and take it. And you will forget your unity with all things, if you ever even knew that in the first place, because most people don't. But of course, it's not people's fault, because we are born into unconsciousness. We don't wake up one day with all the knowledge of the secrets of the universe. We are born into ignorance and have to learn and have to become aware and have to gain wisdom through our experiences. This is why, too, when you see people who are creating their own suffering, their own problems, who can never catch a break, but you see clearly that they're the ones that are the source of all their problems, you have to let them be, because everybody is at their own pace on this journey. And no matter how bad we want to help them, we have to allow life to be their teacher. And we can plant seeds and we can be present. But at the end of the day, we cannot save anybody. At least somebody who does not want to be saved. But save yourself. Watch as your problems dissolve the moment you stop reacting to them. The moment you stop identifying with your problems and the story in which those problems are in. Tomorrow will come, regardless of how much you worry about your problems today. And this too shall pass, and you will find, as is most common, that all of the worry and concern was for nothing, because the problems work themselves out on their own. And you might say, well, no, I have to deal with the problems. These are my problems and I have to deal with them. And I say, you are stuck in the illusion. Because when you allow the force of harmony to flow through you freely, this divine intelligence works through you. The process unfolds automatically. And you say, I am in control of my reality. But we are at the mercy of higher forces. If you have ever questioned how somebody could commit such evil actions, do such horrible things, you must come to see that it was not them who did anything, and that we are all in the same boat. What happens is that, like I said, this valve hose, if it becomes completely turned off, one is completely cut off from the source of life. And therefore they become a vessel of death, and the force of death works through them, just as the force of life works through us. And you might even see that the force of life and death are always battling within us. As I said, everybody has this balance. But when the balance becomes so heavily skewed toward the negative, they become a vessel for death, and death acts through them. And that is how people do such terrible things. That is the source of all suicide. That is the source of all death. When you feel depressed, it is like being consumed by a black hole. You feel like death. When you have no motivation to do anything, you are being possessed by this energy, being lethargic, being tired. In Hinduism, this energy is called tamas. And it basically means unconsciousness or ignorance. It's that slow, heavy, dense energy. And it's not that it is bad necessarily, because without this energy we would not be able to go to sleep at night. We would not be able to enter the mini-death of sleep. If you can't sleep, it means there is too much life energy present. Remember, these forces are acting through us. Think about it this way. If I asked you to lay in bed for the next 7 days and do nothing, not even get out of bed once, your body would not allow you to do that. Because the moment that life emerges, life is active. Life needs to be doing something. You would drive yourself crazy unless you are possessed by the force of death. In that case, you might not even be able to get out of bed for 7 days. There are fundamentally two types of action. There is sin or unskillful action, and there is virtuous action. And to understand this, we must see that energy is the force of life, and our mind is a tool that directs the flow of energy. And so if you are pointing your mind in the wrong direction, the energy is flowing into pathways in which it is wasted. So you lose your energy. And if you focus your mind in the right directions, you allow your energy to flow down pathways that multiply your energy, that multiply your life. And so you see, as I said earlier, with the idea of being separate or united with God, the closer you get to God, the more in heaven you are. And the further you stray from God, the more in hell you are. And God is the source of all life. It is the ultimate source of energy. And so the actions that separate you from God are those that drain you of your energy. And those that bring you closer to God are the actions that bring about more energy. All sin leads to death, because all sin leads to the absence of the life force. And it really is as simple as, what do you allow yourself to focus on? Do you allow your focus to resonate on all the things that are wrong about your life? And what you see is that the people who have the most problems in this life are those who are always negative. And the people who are successful, the winners, the people who you look up to, they do not entertain nonsense, because they have become masters at managing their energy, this life force. If you want to live peaceful and joyful and a loving life, all that is required is for you to point your mind in the right direction. And you catch yourself whenever you are feeding negativity, because that is sin. And this needs not to take much effort, because the moment you are aware of something, you enter into truth and out of illusion. But the forces of darkness only have power over you so long as you are in unconsciousness. So the moment you become aware, you can no longer continue to feed this negativity. The momentum might continue for a while, but it slows down over time. Because the moment you stop feeding negativity, you reserve your life force, and more life is able to act through you. And this divine intelligence that is life, that is the force of harmony, is what solves all of your problems, is what leads you to your dream life, is what brings heaven onto earth. But when that force is being wasted, you are consumed by death. And so therefore you bring hell on earth. You create problems and suffering not only for yourself, but everybody around you, because you have become a vessel for death and darkness. And the way out of this misery is day by day, step by step, in the smallest of ways. You begin to recognize all the ways you feed negativity. You begin to circulate this energy, this life force within you, by moving. If you are stuck in a rut, you need momentum. You become aware of your thoughts and you begin to observe them. And in that observation, you create separation from them. And this allows for a space to arise between you and your thoughts. And that creates detachment, in which you no longer need to feed your thoughts your energy. And day by day, you take your power back and reserve some energy. And that is how you make your way out of hell. Remember, all problems are spiritual problems, because problems only arise to the degree in which you are separated from your spirit. They only arise to the degree in which you are living in illusion and unconsciousness. And when you enter into truth, into the light, your problems disappear. What problems can you have in the presence of God, in the kingdom of heaven?